It's interesting that Colombia is starting to become a prominent player in the world of nice welted footwear. You might know about Colombia's Beckett Simonon, who produce some of the best value boots on the market if you can stomach the wait time. But what you might not know about is Colombia's Bordon, who produce some of the best value boots on the market if you can stomach the wait time. I'm just being cute likening the two because while Bordon will also make you wait a few months for their product, they are truly in another league when it comes to quality. This is the Boot Guy's boot brand. They're making boots that would cost well over $500 or $600 if they were made stateside, but these ones here are made for the low price of $349. I do want this video to be accessible to guys who aren't super in the know about different boot brands and everything, but as an aside to the guys who are real hobbyists in this world of boots, Beckett Simonon make boots you'd pay $300 to $400 for if they were made in the US, and they make them for under $200 usually, with perfectly fine leather and construction for the price. Bordon, meanwhile, is playing in the big leagues, using the kinds of materials and construction you'd pay, again, $600, $700, $800 for in the US. Vegetable tanned leather, double row stitch down construction, the absolute works. Hello, I'm Nick. This is my booty channel, Stridewise, where I sometimes look at other stuff that's made well to last a long time, like jackets and bags and stuff, but my first passion is boots, and it's been too long since I've done a one-off review on a boot brand, and I'm pretty excited to bring you this one here. This is the Bordon Tukano boot. Up top, I also want to thank Jordan Fox for his help with this review. He runs the YouTube channel Nifty Thrifty, and he contributed his thoughts on his Bordon boots for the script here, along with my own thoughts as well. I linked his YouTube channel in the description below. You should go and subscribe to him. Now, Bordon was founded in 2019 as a Colombian brand that produced high quality shoes in Spain and Italy. And then when the pandemic started and things got pretty complicated, they had to make some hard decisions to uncomplicate things, and Bordon moved production to their home country. While this was no doubt a stressful time, it did make for a nice cohesive brand and one that better aligned with their core values of sustainability. I mean, of course, well-made boots last a zillion times longer than sneakers. They're sustainable in and of themselves, but also by producing their footwear in Colombia, they reduce their carbon footprint, the impact of shipping, and so on. Plus, domestic production provides employment for many skilled workers in Colombia, of which there are plenty in the world of nice footwear, as I mentioned. They also decided to go with a made-to-order model, which also reduces waste and avoids overstock and helps to keep the price low, relatively speaking. They have an interesting model at Bordon where they open up orders for just a few weeks, and then they make those orders in batches that typically take some like 3 to 4 months to get to your door. So not only do you have a several month wait, you also can only order them at certain times of the year. Are they hard to get? Yes. Are they worth all that hassle? Let's find out. I mean, yeah, they are. They're very, very good boots, but let's keep going anyway. Now, Bordon positions their boots on the rugged side of the spectrum. They're very, very steadily built, but not overbuilt in the Pacific Northwest tradition like at Nicks and Whites. So it's a really nice balance for guys that want that super sturdy construction and like nice natural materials and highly skilled construction like stitch down construction, and this really, really hardy vegetable tanned American leather. But like you want that, but you don't want to look like you're cosplaying as a lumberjack or risk that anyway.
The fir! The mighty Scots pine! The smell of fresh-cut timber!
And that's really the long and short of this whole review that I keep ending prematurely, but they currently have 3 models. There's the plain toe Wayne's boot, there's the Isidore Chelsea boot, which it should be said is a rare example of the very rugged Chelsea. And what I've got here, the Capto Tukano boot, which they call a jumper boot, which is basically a service boot, which is to say pretty low profile lace-up boot. Note that right now, there are 2 versions of the Tukano boot on their website that you can purchase. There's the 1.0 and the 2.0. These are the 1.0. The main difference with the 2.0 is that it has a gusseted tongue for extra water resistance, so it's stitched into the rest of the shaft here as opposed to being like separate like it is right now. And the toe cap is an extra layer of leather. This 1.0 looks like 2 layers of leather here, but it's actually like the Thursday Captain boot, it's 2 pieces stitched together instead of an actual extra layer of leather going over the toe to protect it. The quarters of the 2.0 will also move forward a little bit to reduce the snugness of the fit. You can get the 1.0 and the 2.0 at the moment. I imagine eventually they'll phase it out for the just to offer the 2.0, but those are the main differences. The Tukano is a really nice design. The toe is rounded, but it's not bulbous. The waist is narrow and refined, but not constricting. The cap toes are even and well proportioned, and as hard as I tried, I couldn't find a single crooked or out of place stitch anywhere on these boots. They really are very, very, very nicely made. Overall, like I said, the design leads toward the rugged side of the spectrum without swinging too far in that direction. So the boots work really well in a casual setting and with a studded sole, like I got this one here, maybe even business casual, but the angles and the heel might be like a little bit sharp and defined to dress up that easily. But still, you can see them, you can judge for yourself. It makes for a very versatile boot nonetheless, and its spiritual siblings from the Pacific Northwest, I would say, are generally less versatile than this. The Tukano is well designed for a versatile look and a versatile fit. As for the leather, the Tukano and the Chelsea boots come in more colors than the Waynes, so it's fair to say that those are the more popular models, like this one and the Chelsea boot. You get the options of a studded or a commando sole with the occasional like Christie wedge sole on offer. And with the exception of a couple of Italian waxed suedes, the uppers are all different hues of vegetable tanned leather from Wickett and Crave, which is America's most celebrated producer of vegetable tan leather. For those who aren't aware, I'm sorry for guys who are tired of hearing this breakdown, but just real quick, almost all leather on earth is chrome tanned, which was invented in the 19th century and is cheaper and softer than vegetable tanned, which is the way we've made leather for thousands and thousands of years before that. With veg tanning, hides are deputrified with natural tannins that you find usually in bark extracts. There are pros and cons to each way of making leather, but a lot of traditionalists prefer the more expensive and rare and slower to make vegetable tan leather because, you know, it's more old-fashioned, and they also prefer the way it ages and the way it wears as it ages, and it does tend to make a harder wearing leather. There are plenty of hard-wearing chrome tan leathers out there, but it is easier to trust that veg tan will last a long time, even though it is definitely very stiff and takes a longer time to break in. And actually, a big part of why veg tan boots are so hard to find isn't just because it's more expensive to make, it's because customers are more likely to return vegetable tan boots because they're stiffer, they're harder to break in. I've met a lot of boot makers who really love veg tan leather, they really love the tradition of it, and they wish they could use it more, but the average person just doesn't love that stiffness, even though they do indeed eventually break in just fine and become very, very comfortable. All of this is to say, Bordon boots are made for guys who really love boots. The kind of guys who love traditionalist elements like this and guys who are happy or okay with enduring a bit of a break-in. I did a video up here with Trenton and Heath, cobblers on YouTube, on fixes for and myths about breaking in boots like this. But basically, use thick socks when you're breaking them in and consider treating the leather with a leather softener like this or a conditioner like this to help speed it up a little bit. As for the construction, we'll start on the sole. You get the choice of a Vibram Eton or Vibram Commando sole with a locally sourced veg tan leather heel lift. The insole, midsole, and welt are all made with Colombian veg tan leather. And below your feet, you'll find plenty of support and comfort, with the insole being fully vegetable tanned with a cushioned footbed insert. And there's also cork filler in there as well to help along that way that boots mold to the shape of your foot with time. And there's also a steel shank in there to give your arches a little help over the course of the day. The lining is a soft calf leather, although the entire interior of the boot is kind of like a garishly orange aniline dye that may prove to be a bit bright for some guys, although no one's going to see it when you're actually wearing them. And the soft calf lining really does help the break-in process as well. With the leather uppers as robust as they are, the lining is a lifesaver there. Although again, yeah, they are stiff from the get-go. It's also really important to touch on the stitch down construction here. Also pretty rare in the industry. This is where the upper is kind of flattened out and stitched through the midsole, and it is a more laborious and highly skilled way of making a boot than the more standard Goodyear welt. It is a bit harder to find a cobbler who will want to resole it. It's harder to do, but you'll find one eventually. And the upsides are that it's more water resistant than a Goodyear welt. And more than that, it's more of an embodiment of skill on the part of the craftsman. It's a little bit like veg tan leather in that it's the kind of stuff that may not have a massive functional benefit. It does have some, but maybe not a massive one. The main draw, at least for a lot of guys, is simply that it's harder to make and it's more traditional. That said, stitch down is stiffer than a Goodyear welt from the get-go, so it does add a bit to the break-in. But eventually they'll be nice and soft for you. As for the sizing and the fit, the Tukano Last is a comfortable design with plenty of room for your toes to spread out in the toe box. If you need sizing help, and you probably will, Bordon is really responsive on their Instagram. Andres, the co-founder, is on there all the time. You can measure your feet for them and everything if you want, but your basic instruction is to go order your usual boot size, which is a half size down from your Brannock size. So that's your true size that you get on the measuring device you get in the shoe stores. So you order your Red Wing size basically. So my true size is 11.5. A lot of my sneakers tend to be a 12. My boot size is almost always an 11. But this is further complicated by the fact that Bordon uses European sizes. So you can just Google how your US size corresponds to European, but my 11.5 is like 45.5. I size down to a 44 with them. So take off one number from your European size and round down if you need to, like I did. Interestingly, they offer E, EE, and EE widths, but not D, which is the normal width. But don't sweat it too much. The idea is to do what I did, like size down if you have D width feet like me, or go true to size if you're an E width. So if I were 11.5 E, I would have gone with size 45, not 44. Again, I know this can be confusing and stressful with such a long wait for the boots and then being obviously hard to exchange, but I didn't have any problems when I just had a bit of back and forth with the brand. So if you're concerned, you can just talk to them on Instagram. You should be fine. They are very keen for more customers. The waist is nice and snug on these boots. It holds my foot in place without being too tight. The heel pocket is a really perfect fit with enough contour to hug your heel, and also it's rough side out on the inside of the boot to help reduce heel slip. And all this further demonstrates the attention to detail that is put into each step of production. Just note that if you have a high volume foot, like a high instep, you'll need to put some miles on these before the instep loosens up. But still, it's a good last and it'll fit a wide variety of feet. Price-wise, a pair of these boots at the moment, could always change, it'll run you $349 USD for the veg tan leather ones, and for the wax suede ones, $329. And they'll occasionally have one-off offerings like these Save the Ocean ones that cost almost $100 more, but some of the proceeds go to ocean conservation efforts. Plus it's a pricier leather, and you also get the option to customize the heel on those ones. So $350, it's terrific value. The closest rivals for boots of this quality with this like kind of leather and stitch-down construction being like Nix and White's or Viberg up in the Pacific Northwest, who have well, not Viberg, but Nix and White's have longer lead times and charge hundreds of dollars more. They typically, also those brands, they're more overbuilt. They have more layers in the sole that help to justify the higher price and everything. But nonetheless, like I said, this would be hundreds of dollars more expensive if you got them made in the US. Or even if it wasn't made to order, it would be a lot more expensive. It does help keep the price down. And actually a lot of guys prefer that extra sustainable side. If you know a thing or two about boots, I don't need to justify the price here. You know these specs, with these specs, it is really very good value. So to wrap up with some pros and cons of Bordon boots, it's really solid, highly skilled construction, and it's rare in this realm. It's really high quality leather, including American veg tan leather, a big emphasis on that. It's fantastic value. The stitch down construction, again, is really skillful, it's hard to make, and it adds to the idea that these are real embodiments of craftsmanship. And the stitch down is also a little bit harder wearing than a Goodyear welt. The business model too is very eco-friendly. You can customize the soles too. The design here is a really nice blend of form and function, and you get free worldwide shipping. The main con is the lengthy order time, of course. Not only is it 3 to 4 months, but you can only buy them at certain times of the year. And the break-in is not fun. That really is the main downside. The veg tan leather combined with the stitch down construction means they are stiff boots, and even after a month of wear, they are stiff, but they'll last you forever. All right, man, those are my thoughts on Bordon. At the moment, they do have orders open for I think like another week or two, and then they're going to shut them again. And obviously that's dependent on the time of filming. So if you saw this shortly after it came out, you can probably still get an order in. Otherwise, I hope this helps you to make a choice as to whether or not you want to buy these boots in the future. And hopefully we see more stuff coming out from Bordon boots. They just got 3 models at the moment, but they do have really strong word of mouth. Like the Reddit reviews are really good as well. Don't just take my word for it. You can look around for the feedback on these. Really, really cool boot, and a really nice balance of like the really, really sturdy overbuilt boot and more casual city-friendly sort of aesthetic as well. So it's a cool entry to the market. Let me know what you think in the description below, and subscribe as well if you want more content like this, more stuff on boot reviews, and also jackets and bags and stuff that's going to last a long time. Buy it for life type stuff. That's the sort of stuff I like to do on this channel. That's it. See you later, man.